Hello everyone, welcome back. So this video, we were headed down to see family over Thanksgiving in Illinois. So we took advantage of an activity day to sneak over to the Indiana RedBird State Recreation Area to check out the park and to try our hand at the 4 Jeep Badge of Honor trails that are hosted there. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of the places we've traveled to covered by electronic maps, such as in Avenza, Overland Bound, or even some really detailed printed PDFs. But this one was a bit rougher to follow. As a first-timer to the SRA, we struggled a bit getting our bearings, but eventually, between just plowing out on the trails and finding some groups willing to let us hang out with them, we ended up having a blast. Just a heads up if you decide to head out to RedBird SRA on your own. Speaking of that, big shout out to 8 Lug Productions and the Kilted Trail Guide for letting my daughter and I tag along with you. Thank you. Now, of course, I was yet again breaking one of my cardinal rules of off-roading, which is never to off-road alone. I was betting I'd run into a group or two, so I wasn't all that worried, but as we got started early in the morning, we were being a little extra cautious here before plowing into every mud hole we could find. Here you see Claire poking with a stick into the puddle to see how deep it is. Continuing forward, we started looking for harder parts of the trail, as we were only on the green easy trail segments so far. There's a few mud puddles here and there, but really honestly, as you can see here, it's pretty dry. Nothing like some of the videos that I've seen online where you're continually winching yourself down the trails. Coming up here in a minute, this part cracked me up as I go over the hill here. The weather was decent, so I had my window open. You'll see there's a couple of mud puddles here. We're going to go a little off camber. That second puddle, yeah, maybe I should have had my window up. Here, hold on.
I hated that.
That was funny.
Oh God.
Mud all over my arm.
Okay, you're good. Just angle that way.
Coming up that hill, we found ourselves in what I think was called the challenge area. A bunch of ups and downs and ups and downs. Some tight turns, a couple extra mud puddles, things like that. We came upon another group of Jeeps and Suzukis that went deeper into the really muddy part of the challenge area. And all I could hear were rev limiters being hit as they bogged through a particularly steep valley with a massive mud pit at the bottom. Well, crap. Turtled.
Oh, shit. Did I turtle?
To boot, my door was blocked, but Claire jumped into action, got the winch attached to a tree down below, and we were quickly on our way. Back on the trail, we headed through the rest of Trail 5, hitting some of the few mud puddles and hills. That almost hit a tree. Here we go, back on it again. Wrapping up the rest of Trail 5 and heading back to the main central area, and nothing too crazy. Claire, though, was itching to now get behind the wheel, and we're about to oblige. Living in Minnesota, there are some awesome trails here, such as the Gilbert Off-Road Park and the Wasabi Mountain Trail, but for a lot of these badge trails, not everyone has been able to schedule time like I've been able to this year to head out and experience them, hopefully soon. As you can see here, I was excited to stumble into a group ahead of us. As with any good group etiquette, I never assume that I can join them, so I do keep my distance. Once the trail is done and they stop to celebrate or rest or grab a snack, I'll usually pull up, introduce myself, and ask if they mind if I tag along behind them. Like I said earlier, not being to this park before, it wasn't like super easy to follow the trails, but these guys were frequent visitors and they were super cool and more than happy to let me follow them for a while. We were nearing the end of Trail 5. It spun around and around and dumped us back on the main paved core road by a huge, I swear, near vertical hill that buggies would rip up. Unfortunately, we didn't see any that day, but it looked fun. I sure as heck wouldn't do it in my Jeep, though. Claire at this point was punching me in the arm to get her turned behind the wheel. Hold tight, kiddo. 5 more minutes. But we ended up connecting up with those guys at the back of the central area after the V-notches. There's some power lines there, so we went all the way to the back, and there's a little entrance to Trail 3. So Claire's sitting in the driver's seat. Let's hit it.
It's not a huge park. It's intricate as hell. I know, in case you decided
Two Jeeps and a Bronco at the front office. Just follow it. Three Jeeps in the back. Hug that tree nice and slow. Don't scrape the car.
I'm not. Nice.
Yeah.
Closing out the time we had to spend today, we obviously didn't get to show you all of the trails that we did. There's a hilarious story about my new GoPro stopping recording halfway through the day, but that's a different story. Claire made her way through the rest of the trail, and it dumped us out of the main core road. It was a bit muddy at the end, so here you can see her having a laugh, spitting the mud out of the
Oh, it's
trails.
still coming.
There was some construction and signage near the front of the park, so we attempted to try out trail number 1, but we were blocked by a road closed sign. Oh well, trail for next time. Here we're pulling into the air up station. We're going to talk to that gentleman right there who we saw on the trail and start on our way home. I just love doing this stuff with my kids. With Claire being post-high school now, she's harder to get out to do this stuff with me, but man, this trip did not disappoint. So fun. Claire wasn't quite ready to go yet, so she wanted to head back to the V-notches and try her hand at the easier side of the hills. Hey, kiddo. Now these V-notches were nuts. Jeremy from 8 Lug tried his hand at them. Claire and I were just watching. You'll see why here. Right there. Oh my God. Thank you so much for watching another one of our videos. Hopefully you watch this and want to get out there and try this stuff yourself. If you liked what you saw, check out our other videos and subscribe to see more.